Without objection, the minutes are adopted. We haven't adopted our minutes for a while, guys, so. All right, I don't think we have any absent members, do we? One? Okay. So I'll make a motion right now to excuse absent members. Without objection, the absent members will be excused from today's meeting. All right, that's all. We got that out of the way. So I'm Matt Hall. I'm chairman of the House Oversight Committee here in Michigan. We've been tasked by Speaker Chatfield to look into elections here in Michigan. Some of this we did before the election, actually, with an audit from the Auditor General about absentee, about our elections, about people on the voter rolls who weren't supposed to be there, and a process on how to remove them. And we've been working through that. We've been working through this audit that found that there were people who weren't trained that were administering elections, and we worked together in a bipartisan way to pass laws to publicize that they need to post, and we're going to publicize the people who don't do their training, because I think they need training. And we had the Antrim County Clerk in, and it's clear she needs a lot of training, trust me. So we got that going. So we worked together there. We brought in clerks from different counties across Michigan to hear from them about how we can improve our election processes in our state. You probably know our last election was the first time in a general election that we had Proposal 3. And Proposal 3 led to widespread absentee voting in our state. And that is something we need to evaluate. That's very much within the role of an oversight committee, is to look at how these laws are working. So we've done that. We've listened to Republican and Democrat clerks to hear their ideas on how we can improve our laws moving forward. We've issued subpoenas to our Secretary of State. You probably know that millions and millions of these mailings went out to people, unsolicited absentee ballot applications. And I've got calls and emails from people who say that this person died. This person moved out of state 10 years ago, but yet they got these applications. And so we took a pretty much unprecedented step to issue subpoenas in order to get to the bottom of how this list was created, why did they send this, so we can look at that and we can improve moving forward. So that's been a lot of the role of this committee. Citizens have serious concerns about the election in Michigan. They've expressed that concern to myself and other legislators. We've received thousands of phone calls and emails. Elections must be trustworthy and accurate. That includes access and transparency for observers, correct tabulations, and proper checks to ensure votes are legally cast. Citizens become frustrated and demand answers when a large number of precinct tabulations don't reconcile, or when election observers from one party feel they were treated unfairly, or when an independent audit is not performed. Elections are the cornerstone of our system of government, and we have a responsibility as legislators to ensure trust in voting results. Mr. Giuliani will be coming before our committee today. He's expressed concerns with how Michigan conducted its elections, and he's President Trump's personal attorney. This hearing allows the people of Michigan to go straight to Mr. Giuliani to evaluate evidence presented by him and get answers that we're seeking. We'll also be able to talk to people who have firsthand experience with alleged voter fraud in our state, and we want to hear their stories. We want people to listen to those and an opportunity to ask questions and to learn more about those things. And then ultimately we can make a decision about whether it's true fraud or not. But we have to have these discussions. When certifying the election results, Michigan's Board of Canvassers is made up of 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. They unanimously asked this legislature to look into issues that have arisen from this election and to hear public testimony. The Board of Canvassers, in a bipartisan vote earlier, requested the Secretary of State demand processes are better followed in Detroit. We are fulfilling the board's request by holding this hearing, and we will request the Secretary of State improve election processes when problems are found. So I hope today's hearing will be constructive. as we examine our state's election system and work to reestablish trust. I feel strongly that our democracy depends on discussions like the one we're about to have today. With that, I'd like to welcome up Mr. Giuliani and Jenna Ellis, the attorneys for President Trump. Yeah, that's right. There's one there, and I think there's wherever you want to sit. There's
Mr. Chairman. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on. Do you have a point of order?
Yes, I do, Mr. Chairman.
What's your point of order?
I would like to ask Mr. Giuliani to please stand and raise your right hand
Not a point of
to
order.
please be sworn before this committee. Mr. Chairman.
Please stop.
Mr. Chairman.
You're out of order.
Mr. Chairman, it
You
is.
have a point of order.
Yes, I do, Mr.
What's your
Chairman.
point of order?
Under the law, I have the right before this committee as a representative to swear any witness before this committee to uphold the law. That is my right. It's my right as a representative.
Let's continue.
Well then, Mr. Chair, I appeal the rule of the chair, and I'd like to ask the committee to please take a vote on this ruling, because it is my right as a representative to make sure that anybody before this committee is truthful, and we have the right as members to swear anybody.
All right, then let's call the roll.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order, Mr. Chairman. A motion to swear a witness in requires a vote of this committee.
No, it does not.
All right, we're gonna go to these. That's fine. Let's just do it. You ready? We'll take it. Okay. Okay. And can I speak to it? In what order?
So the first is
All right, and then, all right, so you call the roll on the motion, which is to appeal the ruling of the chair.
on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair, Chair Hall,
No.
Representatives Riley,
No.
Weber,
No.
S. Johnson,
No.
LeBave,
No.
Schroeder, C.A. Johnson,
Yes.
Camilleri,
Yes.
LeGrand.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 3 yeas, 5 nays, no pass. With that, the ruling of the chair stands.
All right, so with that, Mr. Giuliani, please proceed with your testimony. And Jenna Ellis as well. We want to hear you, and then we'll call up witnesses after that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, it's my understanding that I'm here in my capacity as an attorney, not as a witness. If you want to question me as a witness, that's a different matter. But also, I'm the attorney for the president. Ethically, I don't know what that would mean if you turned me into a witness.
Yeah, you're here to testify. No one's under oath. This is like any committee hearing, sir, where we're just taking testimony from members of the public to talk about what happened here in the election.
Just my understanding from appearing before Congress many times is, when I appear in the role as a lawyer, I'm not under oath. When I appear as a witness, I am under oath.
Yeah, and sir,
When I appear as an attorney for someone, and it's a case involving them, it would be unethical for me to be a witness. But
yeah, and sir, here in Michigan, we don't administer oaths to people who testify. It's almost unprecedented in this legislature.
Thank you.
It is our right to be clear, but to do so.
You're out of order.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be very brief because I have a number of witnesses, and the whole purpose of asking for this hearing is because for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, all we've heard is that there are unsubstantiated allegations of fraud. What began as unfounded allegations of fraud, then it became unsubstantiated allegations of fraud, then it became allegations of fraud but not big enough to overturn an election, and then it became allegations of fraud that really couldn't be completely investigated between now and the election, but are going to require substantial investigation after the inauguration. So it's changed a great deal, but in that period of time, no one's bothered to look at the evidence. No one's bothered to listen to the witnesses. I'm not a witness. I didn't witness any of this. Everything I'm presenting to you, I'm presenting you as a lawyer. These are the words of other people. and in your case, in the state of Michigan, people who are citizens of your state, who observed fraud. And I must say, observed fraud on what I would consider, I would also consider myself an expert on prosecuting fraud. I would consider a massive amount of evidence. What I'm holding in my hand are affidavits. These are sworn under oath. They have the power of evidence because they're sworn under oath. These are the things on which you bring indictments. And they allege massive cheating, particularly on the part of the Democrat Party of Detroit, to the extent of easily 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 illegal votes, calculated many different ways. The second part of the case is an analysis of the voting machine that you used in much of the state, I believe much of the state, not all, Dominion, which broke down in Antrim County. That alerted people to take a look at it, and lo and behold, it became a tremendous surprise to the people of America. Did you want this closer? I'm sorry. It was a very big surprise to me that our votes are sent out of the United States. It's also a big surprise to me that our votes are counted by a foreign company. And it's even a bigger surprise to me that if you do the slightest bit of due diligence, you will find out that this company has been in trouble many, many times, was just disqualified in the state of Texas, under another name was thrown out of Chicago. In its infancy had ties with Hugo Chavez, Venezuela, conducted fraudulent elections in 2 South American countries, and have been disqualified in several other countries and states. It appears as if whoever your elections officials are selected this without the slightest bit of even Googling the company, where if you did, you would find out that it's considered to be the most insecure voting machine available to us, and has resulted in enormously terrible problems. I'd like to put into the record a letter written by my congresswoman many years ago, Carolyn Maloney, who pointed out all of the problems with this company, Dominion. I'd also put in the record letters from Elizabeth Warren and somebody else that I can't remember right now, but another United States senator. I have no idea what you were doing with this company, and one of the things I would suggest is you take a good look at just how you came about taking on a company that has this terrible record. We've had occasion to examine now the machine that faltered. We have preliminary data on how it can be invaded. We would need to examine the rest of the machines, and if we did, we could probably tell you to some degree of certainty exactly how many votes were changed, the formula by which they were changed, and if they were directed overseas, because there are some indications that the vote was being sent to Frankfurt, Germany, or to Barcelona, to a company called Seitel. That's a brief overview, but I think I would rather start because this woman, I would just ask the indulgence of the committee. Miss Jacob is a very, very fine woman. She's never testified before. She is exceedingly concerned for many reasons. And if everybody could just be courteous in questioning her, I would really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
So I'd like to call Jesse Jacob.
All right, Mr. Mayor. And just to be clear, I didn't say this before. The way we're going to run this format, my goal is to be done by 9. That's about 3 hours. We might go a few minutes over since I came in late. That's the goal. We're going to allow each witness to come up, and at that point, we'll allow members of the committee to ask a question. The question has to be germane to the topic. This is about the Michigan elections, okay? I'll allow 1 question per member, no follow-ups, 1 question, okay? That's how we're going to do it for each witness. And that's because of the shenanigans. I was going to allow a little leeway, but I'm not now. All right, we're going to do 1 question per witness. We're going to go through each one. I call them witnesses, but people who are testifying here. And then lastly, at the end, Mr. Giuliani will take those questions. That's how we're going to do it. So I understand Jesse Jacobs is first?
Could I have Jenna say a word or two?
Yes, of course. Why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the committee. And I appreciate your calling this session, Mr. Chairman, and that we have members that are both Democrats and Republicans here. But you're all here in your capacity as legislators. And this is not a political question, this is a legal one. When you have what you will see before you as substantial evidence of fraud and corruption in an election, it's your obligation under the United States Constitution to not allow the corruption to continue. And under Article 2, Section 1.2, the state legislators are the entity that our founders specifically vested with the authority to ensure against a corrupt popular vote. So at the end of the evidence and the testimony that we present today, we are going to be asking you to take action on this. You've already heard from a number of witnesses and other people and evidence over the past day and a half. I would ask you all to put aside your party affiliation and look openly and honestly at these witnesses and this evidence, because here we're all Americans. And our founders specifically provided this tool, the state legislature, to be able to combat corruption or foreign influence when that happens in an election. We sit before you today on behalf of the President of the United States, but as he said today in a speech from the White House, it's his sworn duty and obligation to make sure that election integrity and free and fair elections are preserved in this country. And we will be asking you, after taking a look at the testimony presented today, to take that oath that you have made as state legislators very, very seriously. The law is on your side because the U.S. Constitution is on your side. And we would be happy to answer any questions about that at the end of this proceeding, but thank you very much for your time and attention today.
Thank you, and there will be questions about that, I assure you. Are we ready for Ms. Jacobs? All right, please, Ms. Jacobs, when you're ready, come forward. Welcome to the House Oversight Committee. And when you sit down, you push the red button there. That'll turn on the microphone, and you can speak. And just to be clear, you speak. We're not. When you're done, we'll allow one question per member, but we're not going to interrupt you. So I just want everyone to be cognizant of the fact our goal is to be done, a little after 9. So welcome, and thank you for coming here today to tell your story.
With Miss Jacob is her husband. Your full name is?
Sunny Jacob.
And your full name is?
Jesse Jacob.
And Jesse, you're a resident of Detroit?
Yes, I am.
And you were born in India, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
You came to the U.S. in 1985?
That's true.
And you and your husband became United States citizens?
Yes, in 1995.
And how many children do you have, Jesse?
3 children.
How old are they?
The older one is 36, and the second one is 32, and the third one is 24.
And what do they do?
The older one, she's my oldest daughter. She's practicing in the emergency medicine physician at Washington, D.C. since 2014, yes.
And
my son,
your son?
he's doing his fellowship in child and adolescent psychiatry at Dallas Southwestern University Medical Center.
And your youngest daughter?
She's a third-year med school student at Wayne State.
Congratulations. So let's get right to it. On September, you've been an employee of the city of Detroit for many, many years. Is that correct?
That is true.
Approximately how long?
Since 1986 August.
And you have the title of head engineer?
Yeah, that's my current title.
And on September 8th, you were assigned to election duties, were you not?
That is true.
And you were assigned to the 3rd floor of the election department.
The 4th floor. The 4th floor
Fourth
of
floor,
the
okay.
election department at West Grand Boulevard location.
And what were you told you were supposed to do?
The first day, basically, we were all, it's about, let me see how many people, about 40 to 60 people on that floor. We were, first day were, giving all kinds of instructions, how this training is going to be. And then in the afternoon, we started opening the mails that was received to the headquarters. That is the mail for application for absentee ballot request. So basically, that's what we were doing the whole week, first week, starting from September 8th. I started at 9 a.m. It was 9 to 4 p.m. So the entire group was working from 9 to 4, opening the mails, sorting out the mails, and we were asked to sort out according to the counting board, 134 counting boards. So there are 134 counting boxes set up, so you can sort out the applications that you have opened.
Did there come a time, Ms. Jacob, in about the third week of September, when you were asked to change date?
So about I think they're around September 20th or 22nd. Yeah, I would say 22nd, third week of September. We were kind of started packing, making the ballot packages to be sent to different citizens. And what we do is we will do for different counting boards, 50 pack. 50 application will be there. So you will be making packages of 50 ballots. And on the floor, they will let you know what date need to be put on that package, the mailing date for that ballot. So I notice time to time, basically every day, whenever you prepare that package, the ballot package is always either 3 days, back date, 3 days, not the same day, always days before that date.
So starting on the 20th of September.
22nd.
22nd?
Yes.
22nd of September.
Yes.
For some days thereafter.
Yes.
Each day you would give it a different date
Yes.
in order to backdate
Yeah. Yes.
the application. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it was a different date each day?
Sometimes you use the same date, maybe consecutive days, maybe you will use the same date, but it was different.
But it was never the correct date.
It never be the same day, the day you are preparing the package.
In other words, it was a false statement.
Yeah, it was a date prior to that date that you are preparing
Who told you to do that?
whoever was the supervisor on the floor that day.
Was it one supervisor or more than one supervisor who told you to backdate it every day?
There were more than one supervisor, not just one, more than one. So I would say 1 to 3 supervisors.
And how long did you have that position? Until you left that position after a short while.
Yes.
Can you tell us how long you held that position?
Yeah, I worked at the 4th floor of the election department till October 2nd, that's a Friday. September 30th, I was sent for training, for the QVF trainings. September 30th and October 1st, I was at training. Then October 2nd was my last day working at the election headquarters. And from October 5th onwards, I was asked to work as a processor at one of the satellite sites. Out of 23 satellite sites, first I was sent to Cromwell Recreation Center at Lasher and 6 Mile. Then I was asked to go to Common Air Recreation Center at Bradbury Drive near downtown from October 12th.
Well, up until the time you left,
Yes.
how many co-workers did you have when you were backdating the documents?
You mean at the election headquarters?
Yes, at the original place that you worked.
Okay, they, after, I think about around September 15th or so, they started the second shift. Until then, it was only from 9 to 4, one shift. Then they started another shift from 5 to 11, so 2 shifts. So I would say, if you add all of them, let me see. I would say around 80.
About 80
Yes.
workers.
Yes,
And to your knowledge, were they all instructed exactly like you were
yes.
to falsify
When they
the
were,
document?
yeah, when they were preparing the ballots to be sent, the ballot package.
So the ballot package had a false date on it when it was sent out, deliberately.
I mean, what basically is that date that you put on that ballot package, that will be entered to QEF as the ballot mailing date. And that's what it is.
And then the law requires, doesn't it, you correct me because you know it much better than I do, that within 24 hours of your receiving the application, you have to respond, is that correct?
Yeah, per the State of Michigan's official manual, you are required to issue a ballot within 24 hours of the application request. That's what I read in the Michigan official's manual, the chapter 6. That's what it is written. So I don't know, when I was preparing the package, in the third week of September, I even saw applications from June, July, August. So
And what happened to the June, July, and August applications? Were they dated differently?
No, the application, the citizens' applications, the date citizens submitted that application, it was from June, July, August, but we were preparing the ballots in September after 2-3 months later.
So during the period of time you were there doing it, which you estimated was about 10 days,
Yes.
would you say that about 100,000 false documents were created?
Yeah, from September 22nd till, I would say, till September 30th. Yeah, about 10 days. I mean, I was there till October 2nd.
And you estimated, when we went over this, about 10,000 a day.
Yeah,
Days.
anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000. Yeah, sometimes we will be able to complete. I even remember 14,000 packages. Sometimes it's 12,000. So you can just, to be on the safe side, you can say 10,000 per day. That's a good number.
And just before we leave this, would your supervisor say this to all of you publicly? In other words, he would say, today, the date we're going to use is
This day.
whatever.
Yes. Yeah, that's the
In other words, you
announcement.
had the phony date of the day. to
Yeah,
put
that's the
down.
announcement they will make. Yes, on the floor. Yes.
Then on October, then you were transferred and you went for training.
Yeah, on September 30th from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Then also on October 1st, those are the 2 days I was sent for training at Wayne County Community College. From 9 to 11:30 morning session. Then afternoon you will come back to the election headquarters.
And what do you remember of your training? What were you told during the training?
It was not good.
It was not good?
No.
Well, how wasn't it good?
I mean, first of all, when I was at the Wayne County Community College from 9 to 11:30, it's about, I would say, around 20 to 25 people. There were 2 groups, so I was with the second group. The first group training was from September 28 and 29, first group. I am with the second group, September 30th and October 1st. About, I would say, around 20-25 people in each group. But what I found out when I went there, I tried to log into one of the laptops. It was not working. Then I tried another one. It was not working. So we had problems with the laptops. I couldn't even log into the system. So I was told by the instructor, just listen. Just listen. You don't need a laptop. Okay. So basically, we were just I would say at least out of 20, 25.
Now you have a tape recording of this, don't you? that you don't want to share because you don't want the person who said this hurt. Is that correct?
No, so what I did was, since I didn't have a laptop, I didn't have nothing in front of me, I asked the instructor, can I record your lecture? Because I have to be, from October 5th, I have to be by myself. I have to work as a processor. So I want to learn something. So I asked the instructor, can I record your lecture? She said, sure, you can record. So with her permission, I recorded the lecture.
So when we listened to it last night, did the instructor from the city of Detroit tell you it doesn't matter if the address is wrong, or the birth date is missing, or there are no names? You must try and find a birth date. And if the signatures look different, find something about them that's the same. No application should be rejected. Is that the sum and substance of what? Was it a she or he?
That's a she.
Is that what the female told you?
In a nutshell, that's what basically, you have to do everything to make sure, that voter, at the end, that voter should get a ballot and vote. So.
Even if the address was wrong?
See, sometimes when the voters walk in, they just give you the house number and the street name, but you have different ways to, you can search the voter in different ways. You can locate the voter. Sometimes you are lucky, you will be able to find everything for that voter, then you can process the ballot. But that won't be the case for everybody.
And suppose you can't find everything for that person. What do you do then?
The instructor sometimes tell you should set aside that application, and we will send that application back to the election headquarters, let them take care of it.
And when you did that, what happened to it?
I don't know what happened after that. I don't know. It was sent. And also I was also instructed with regard to how to verify the signatures. You have to do everything so that the signatures, you have to match it.
Well, during the time that you worked there,